Hey, what's going on guys? Arekkz here, and today we're going to talk about the next generation Xbox, because yesterday Xbox revealed it at the Game Awards, which was completely unexpected, right? Honestly, the way that Microsoft have been owning their own events in recent years, I half expected the first time we'd actually see this would be at one of their own events, maybe in the new year. But the fact they just dropped this during the Game Awards was completely unexpected, but also really, really awesome, right? There were loads of great announcements during the Game Awards. In fact, it actually gave us our first look at two next-generation titles. We've obviously heard about, the upcoming next-gen, but this was actually our first chance to, technically speaking, see two next-gen games, one for Xbox Series X and one for PS5, which, by the way, looks incredibly cool. Godfall, I'll speak more about that later. It's basically a looter shooter with swords, which is completely my jam, so we'll 100% be speaking about that probably next week. Anyway, back on track. Xbox, the next generation one, is called Xbox Series X, which initially is kind of funny because I saw an article the other day from IGN that were like, supposedly the title of the next Xbox will describe what it does. I'm like, well, it's going to play games, so maybe it's going to be called the Xbox Game Playing Machine. And then they called it the Xbox Series X, which completely does not describe what it does. I mean, anyway, right? It's an article. They must have got their information wrong. Whatever, doesn't matter. Point is, Series X is the name, and this is what it looks like. And I want to say, it actually looks kind of cool. I know it's a pretty sort of minimal design. It's just this big tower, this little sort of minimalist, industrial-looking tower, and I just kind of like it. I don't know exactly why, but I think it's just because it looks quite different to everything we're used to seeing. When you think about typical Xboxes, although you've been able to sort of stand them on their sides, it's almost like they've been designed with the intention of lying them flat, so you think of them in this sort of horizontal, rectangular box, whereas now they've just gone vertical, and I'm just like, it's just kind of cool. I can just sort of picture it in a nice setup, sitting alongside a monitor, maybe a plant pot the other side. You can see I'm already starting to picture my setup. It's going to be kind of cool. Anyway, that's the console, right? But there's a lot of cool things to talk about because while obviously, yes, at this stage, information is still pretty light. They haven't gone super in-depth. They have given us some top-level information, and there's some pretty exciting things to talk about. And since we've spoken about the PS5, thanks to the recent information from Sony, we're going to be doing the same for the Xbox Series X because, I just love consoles, alright? Doesn't matter what platform, I'm going to pick them all up because I just like playing games. So what do we know about this Series X? Well, first things first, Holiday 2020, of course next year is the year for the next generation systems, which means E3 is going to be so good. There's going to be PS5, there's going to be Xbox Series X, it's going to be a good year. So, Holiday 2020, you're going to have to pick your console, or just pick them both up. And that's when it's going to be dropping. But supposedly this is, they always say this, right? This is their fastest, most powerful console ever. I find it kind of funny, because in some of the marketing material that's going out on Twitter, they were like, this is the most powerful Xbox we've ever made. And I'm just like, well, it better be, because it's a next generation system, and if I'm buying it, I certainly don't want to buy a system that is less powerful than your last one. I understand the principle behind it. It's obviously marketing spiel. It's the most powerful thing we've ever... Doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm just rambling. It's a powerful system. It's next generation. And supposedly it's 4 times as powerful as the Xbox One X, which is pretty meaty because the Xbox One X is a really nice system. Really nice piece of hardware. Very powerful. Can kick out some great games, some great visuals. So 4 times more powerful than that is definitely not something to sniff at. And they also said it's going to be quite an efficient machine, which is incredibly important because as I record this video, my PS4 is running and it sounds like a jet engine and having to run noise removal on this video so that you guys don't even hear it. So yeah, quiet is definitely an important thing. Also, very important thing as well, you can stand this thing vertically or you can rotate it and lie horizontally. So for those of you guys with setups designed around horizontal consoles, it's fine, right? But obviously marketing material shows it standing vertically because that's just how it looks cool. Now on top of that, there's also going to be a brand new wireless controller. Now this is the interesting one because they've said in the material, or the kind of marketing spiel thus far, that the size and shape have been refined to accommodate an even wider range of people. Now they haven't said what that means. Does that mean they've shrunk it down to factor in people with smaller hands? Does that mean they've made it bigger for people with bigger hands? Doesn't really make too much sense. When you think about the size of it, it's always been a bigger controller than the PS4 controller. I still love the Xbox controller. I think it's one of the best controllers out there. But if they're trying to sort of accommodate a wider range of people, thinking maybe younger generations, maybe they might be shrinking it down ever so slightly. I don't know. They haven't given us the specifics. But what they have also said is that it's going to have a new D-pad, which is kind of inspired by the Xbox Elite Series 2, which is really cool because that's got the interchangeable D-pads and it's got a really nice sort of precise one. But when you look at the pictures of this, it's almost like they've taken the two different Xbox D-pad styles. If you think about the Elite, when you've got the circular paddle that you can kind of just roll around, and you've got the traditional cross D-pad, it's almost like they've merged them together to create this thing that we see here. Now, again, obviously we'll have to wait and see how it actually feels in hand, but I mean, if it's like the Xbox Elite Series 2, then that's going to be great because that was a really, really nice feeling controller. I like the D-pad on that, so that's nice. They also said, of course, it will be compatible, the controller, with Windows 10, all that good stuff, so you can continue to use it as you have done, whether you're playing on PC or playing on console. Now, a few other kind of tech specs to rattle off. They said that the console is going to provide world-class visuals in 4K at 60 FPS with the possibility of up to 120 FPS. Obviously, that will depend on the developer, depend on the game, but the fact that you can get frame rates of up to 120 FPS is really, really cool. They did also say that it can go up to 8K as well. Basically, the console is listed as 8K capability. It's kind of the same sort of thing we're seeing, the same thing they said with Stadia. They're basically future-proofing for the eventuality that further down the line people start adopting 8K TVs. Given how long it's taken people to adopt 4K TVs, I don't really think we're going to be seeing that anytime soon, but regardless, it's something to check off on the list. They also said that it's going to have variable refresh rate, and it's got a custom design processor leveraging the latest Zen 2 and next generation RDNA architecture from AMD, and because of that, Xbox Series X will then deliver hardware accelerated ray tracing and a new level of performance never before seen in a console. They also said they're going to be minimizing latency by leveraging technology such as auto low latency mode, or ALLM, and giving developers new functionality like dynamic latency input to make Xbox Series X the most responsive console ever. Not going to pretend I know what that means, but I mean, minimizing latency for online gaming is always a good thing. So if that gives the developers more tools to give us a better online experience, I'm all for it. And of course, for those of you guys that like backwards compatibility, they also said, and to quote them, "One of the things we're most proud of with the Xbox Series X is the promise that we're delivering to our fans who have and continue to invest with Xbox. Thanks to backward compatibility, you can expect your gaming legacy, thousands of your favorite titles across 4 generations of gaming, all your Xbox One gaming accessories, and industry-leading services like Xbox Game Pass to be available when you power on your Xbox Series X in holiday 2020. So that is pretty cool. And of course, I've said this before in previous videos, but the idea that they're going to have, Game Pass has been a massive growing thing. Game Pass is fantastic, and having that alongside the launch of your new console is a huge value proposition. When you think about buying a brand new console, you typically think like you pick a couple of games, right? But now if you can just buy the Series X and you get Game Pass and you get everything in that launch lineup, that is going to be massive for launch. So yeah, Xbox is going to have a pretty, assuming there are some good games at launch, that is, but Xbox is going to have a pretty solid setup to kick out the door. Now, also, they did show us during this demonstration a little glimpse at the sequel to Senua's Sacrifice. This one is Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, and this, of course, is the next game by Ninja Theory, and supposedly the footage they showed was captured in-engine and reflects the power of the Xbox Series X. Now, obviously, when they say in-engine, doesn't necessarily mean everything is gameplay, but of course it is still within the game engine. So, looks very, very impressive, and that's kind of the sort of stuff we would expect from next generation. Quite how that will transpire when we actually see it gameplay with HUD will remain to be seen, but either way, it's still incredibly exciting. So, that's all we have for the time being. That's what we know about the Xbox Series X, the next generation Xbox, the most powerful console they have ever made. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Let me know if you're excited. Let me know if you guys have got any questions. And of course, as and when we hear more about the console, I'll be sure to keep you guys up to date because I'm excited.
Let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream. And that you could have the power within one night to dream 75 years of time. And you would naturally, as you began on this adventure of dreams, fulfill all your wishes. But now let's have a surprise. Let's have a dream which isn't under control. And then you would get more and more adventurous. And you would make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream. And finally, you would dream where you are now.
I really hope you guys enjoyed that video. Remember to hit that subscribe button and also click on the little bell icon to turn on notifications so you don't miss my next upload. Also, don't forget, you can check out 269 and Paradise Central streaming over on Twitch 6 days a week. You can find a link to the multi-stream in the description box down below. Be sure to drop by and get involved. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace out.